You ready?
There is a connection between the paranormal, UFOs, and the myths of ancient history. The clues are scattered across the landscape from a forbidden past, maybe even in your own backyard. There is a connection between the true nature of our reality, consciousness, and the unexplained. I'm Carl the Crusher. Let's explore the unknown.
The Hessdalen phenomena are probably one of the greatest mysteries on planet Earth. That is why I, for almost 40 years, have been researching the phenomena. My name is Erling Strand, and this is the Blue Box Project Hessdalen's research station, which we plan to upgrade. Dr. John Allen Hynek was probably quite right when he said that
Hessdalen is really a UFO laboratory. It's a place where things are happening and where things can be studied.
For every progress we make with the research in Hessdalen, the phenomenon rewards us with more questions than answers. This means that we progress slowly towards new scientific results, but are willing and prepared to expand our horizon, to explore this phenomenon more curiously. What has fascinated me about the phenomenon is all the aspects in which this phenomenon chooses to show itself. Since the 1980s, the number of recorded observations has decreased to an estimate of 20 per year, but in return, the peculiarities of how the phenomenon presents itself has increased. What can be observed as a diversity of lights at night might be observed during daytime as physical objects that resemble geometric figures or airplanes without wings and tails. That suggests that we must strive for a greater understanding of our own world to unlock the mysteries of the Hessdalen phenomenon. If we solve this riddle, we will not only have a greater understanding of our own world, but also a deeper knowledge of our own humanity. For me, it is as simple as this. To solve and understand more of the world's mysteries, you have to study the Hessdalen phenomenon. And the beauty is that Hessdalen is open to everyone in the world to visit, explore and experience.
Fy faen, har du sett? Der ja! Nei, det beveger seg! Hei! Oi! Sjekk!
Å, fy fader!
Hey everyone, I'm Carl Crusher, and I'm back with Dr. Jim Segala, and we have some exciting updates about the Modular Unidentified Phenomena Alert System and some of the changes that we're making in the direction of the program, access to the data, and even how we're going to take it global. And so we have a little bit to talk about and some ground to cover and some updates with all of that, and I'm excited for Dr. Segala to share all that with you. So welcome back, Jim. So I'm excited to have you here, man.
Yeah, it's great to be here and actually to let you explain to you and your people, your audience and all their followers, some of the technology that's being developed to actually, like what Carl said, to actually help us get to the next level with all these opportunities for sensing data, looking for UFOs, looking for experiencers, all that kind of thing. How do we bring that into a nice, clean portal so we can figure out what this phenomena is and how we can learn from it? So yeah, again, I wanted to just let everybody know that there's a lot of technology that's been built out just recently because we've got some new opportunities coming down the pipe. We have other properties that are looking to put devices on, and we want to offer that to the public and let them watch these things happen and watch all the signals as they vary and all the alerts that come flying out. So what I want to do today is I want to give everybody a nice overview of what they could expect to see through our MUPAS portal, where all the devices will be feeding in and they can actually interact with this. There's a community board that we can start talking. We can have people come in and start talking and putting observations in and start talking and back and forth. And so there's a little chat thing that's built into it for each location. So it actually becomes a nice little environment for people to just get on and just look at it all day long and see how things are developing. So I just, without further ado, I just want to show you what the portal looks like.
Yeah, and while you're pulling that up, I'll just give everybody who maybe is coming into this unfamiliar a quick update. We've done a full interview and several others before, a 2-hour interview on my YouTube channel, and I'll link down below so that you can go watch that, about this entire modular unidentified phenomena alert system, how it works, how it captures spikes in gamma radiation, microwave radiation, gyroscopic data, and environmental data. And we also have outdoor sky systems and sky watching systems as well. And so we have a home team, and to put these devices in the homes of experiencers who feel like they are experiencers of paranormal phenomena or abduction type scenarios, out of body travel, sleep paralysis, things like that. We can actually line those experiences up with the scientific data based on the research that Jim has developed, working with other physicists and engineers that worked in and around Skinwalker Ranch. And so we're trying to tie this all together, make it more of like a grassroots project where people can get these devices, log in and access the data in the live feed, and also access the data coming from other interesting locations. Originally, we were going to plant one of these sensors. This one's on my desk right behind me here on the bookshelf. And we were going to place this up at a location called Mount Wilson Ranch. And we started running into conflicts with the ownership there, where he was really uncomfortable with the technology and didn't understand it, was struggling to do the journal entries. And so I brought this device back home. And now we're going to take it to the next level and a new direction with it that we're really excited about. So yeah, go ahead anytime you want. I think we can add this up here.
Yeah, so this is our portal that everybody can contact and get into, and allows you to basically see what's going on with all the devices that are currently out there. So when you subscribe to this, you basically will get a list of devices that you can then monitor real time, or you can go back and look at all the history. This happens to be one that, so if you can look at this view right here. So these are 2 devices that I've been monitoring now for a little while, and I can scan and I can look at different parts of it. I can look at different environmental things. I can look at like how all this data is coming over to me. So this is actually something that is this is actually the device that's sitting behind Carl.
Yeah, so we have that one labeled for Mount Wilson, but that's
Yeah.
the one here at my house. And then there's the Easter egg right there, is the Hessdalen Valley in Norway.
Yeah, so that's and then this one is another device that I have that you can monitor. Again, you can look at the microwave signals, and so here's some of the microwave signals that are being generated by that particular area. And then, or maybe you can actually at the same time, you can look at simultaneously at what's going on in the gamma region. So you can look at the gamma. So right now there's not much going on. This is just very, very basic information, or very, very low signal strengths that are coming from here. But what it does is it gives you this opportunity to just look at all the signals, see what they're doing, try to understand, see any correlations between any of these. And there's all sorts of sensors. So we have the accelerometer, which is basically the ground shaking, or maybe the space-time kind of moving. And then you have the magnometer, which is everybody knows what that is. I mean, that's basically this is the gravity vector. This is holding you to the Earth. And sometimes when things go crazy and there's a lot of movement around, you'll get these big spikes. And I think there's a lot of people that have seen some of the data that's come from the devices, where you get these enormous spikes that come out of the gravity data, and that indicates that there's something funky going on.
I never
then,
considered looking at the gyro data as a space-time shift or something like that. That does make a lot of sense that you could catch that if there was sort of like a wake or an echo there.
So there's actually very interesting things going on in the gyro. So if you can look at think of the gyro is the twisting motion that goes on. So
Right.
when a craft enters your environment, what happens is it perturbates, or it changes what we consider the space-time, what we consider like, the normal ether that's sitting around you, and it comes in and it changes it ever so slightly, and this device picks that up, and it will show you a twisting or a little bit of a twist. So if you get, like, for instance, I'm looking at the Z direction. So if you get some twisting, Z is going straight up and down. So if you get some twisting in the Z direction, that means that your space-time is just ever so slightly twisting. And that's the kind of indication that we use to figure out that there is something present in the environment that we then have to be careful of. And what's great about this view right here is that if we do get a spike in the, say, the gamma Z or the gyro Z, and simultaneously we can come over here, we can switch to the microwave, and we can say, okay, well, at the same time you have a gyro Z change, this is not a very large spike, of course, but there are some times when you get these very, very large spikes in the microwave. So if you have a microwave spike and you also say, for instance, I'm looking over here at the gamma spikes. Say the gamma spikes is you get a huge spike in the gamma, and you get 3 sensors correlating that one incidence, and at the same time, the person that this device is near is starting to get an experience or see a UFO or see an orb. That's a significant data point that we can use in a scientific investigation. And that's what this is all about. And of course, with this, you can go back and you can look at any day. I can go back and look at several days past. There's a lot of ways that you can slice and dice this information to give you the best view of what's going on.
So let's say, for example, like at the Hessdalen Valley, if we had a tripod system set up outdoor, this is a place that was studied for a long time for Project Blue Book and J. Allen Hynek. It would be interesting to get Paul back involved. We both worked with Paul and Chris Lato, and Lato's been up there doing work at scanning the bottom of the lake and things, and worked with the same team. So let's say there is a phenomena where a group of people are up there and see the lights appear in the sky. They all have an experience. We could actually capture that not only on the cameras, on the sensors, but then get this data as representative as some sort of like a soliton of a toroidal energy field comes through the information, and the sensor could catch that spin of the toroidal field and the shifts in all the microwave and gamma and all of that.
Let me switch to that. So this is what I call my real-time portal. So now,
this is the live feed.
This is the live feed. So you'll see this is the video feed coming from the cameras, and you'll get real-time logging. So you can actually look at some of the real-time logging that's been going on. You can look at, then you can look, drop down and say, well, look, there was an anomaly detected. Say, for instance, something happened where it detected something in the sky. You would get a alert created that you can then go through. It'll actually show up. You can also, by the way, get it on your email if you sign up for an email. And then, so here's all of the events that happened over the past, a couple days now. You can view the events, and you can look at this in real time as it's coming through. So this one dynamically updates as things happen. So, like, for instance, this is the gamma, and then we can actually look at the microwave. So you can see, there's a nice little spike. Wow. So this is the normal background radiation noise for the microwave, and then here's a little spike. So something happened here. But what's really super interesting is if you start seeing some of these things and you start getting some of this environmental changings going on at the same time that you start seeing anomalous things in the sky, that's when you start getting some really cool data that's coming through. So this is the portal that everybody could be looking at. And again, this is something that's, in Norway, but it's available to you anywhere you are in the United States or anywhere in the world, actually. And then what's really cool is that you can come over here and you can start putting your own observations in. You say, look, I saw this gamma spike at this certain time, or you can say, I for the camera, and I could, put something in here and say, okay, here's my observation, and that gets broadcasted out to all the other people that are watching this thing. So it becomes a little bit of community. And then what happens is that as this thing is cruising by, if you go back to the other ones, if I had another one, say for over here, you'll see, I don't have any, unfortunately, to show you, but you'll see little icons come up as alerts are generated. They will be positioned on the graph, so you can click into them at that exact time, and it'll come up and say, okay, at this particular time, the AI engine actually determined that there was some anomalous signals that were present in the atmosphere, and they would go through. So right now, so this is actually, this is actually quite interesting. So this is just happening right now. So
right now
there was a significant spike right here in the
and look at the clumping of the microwave data that parallels it.
That's actually very, very interesting. So you had clumping here, and you also have a spike. Now you normally don't get that. So let me just turn off the noise so you can see a little better.
And this is at a home location.
This is, so there's a property.
You don't have to say where.
Okay, that's good. So in New Hampshire, there's a property that we've been monitoring for about a year now, and it's just chock full of very suspicious objects that float through the sky. And there's a device there. It doesn't have a camera. We're putting a device in that does have a camera, and they get these things flying across this region of space right behind their, it's not in their backyard, but
I think I know where you're talking about. I'm not going to say anything. We'll talk after the show.
Yes, it's actually quite exciting. I was there this weekend. It was like, and there's some really crazy things, but they get this anomalous stuff happening. So they would get this, like, it actually happened in the gyroscopic area. It's funny you asked about that. And there was some very peculiar gyroscopic. It's actually didn't do it today, but there was some very funky gyroscopic motion at the same time they were viewing it, and you would get these clumping of the RF and you get a gamma spike. So this is what we consider as being good, verifiable scientific data that we can use in a model to help predict some of these things and help people understand what's going on. So like I said, this is the portal that we've been using to monitor this thing, and this is actually what we're bringing out to the public so they can monitor this themselves. So there's a whole bunch of other things that we can do. So right now, I mean, you can set up your alias, so when you do post something, you can either have your unique identification number, which is just some random number, or you can just put an alias. I put my name in there, but you can put whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. And then you can set up your portals. So there's a way you can come in here. We give you 3 portals. So right now I say my first portal is my Mount Wilson, which we're going to have to change that. And I've allocated 2 devices on there. I can have up to 2 devices on each portal. On my second portal, which I have over here, is the East Coast portal. That's again a historical, and I've only have 1, and I can actually put whatever. I can put whatever ones. I can put say this one on there too if I wanted to. And then my third portal I have is my real-time portals, and it's different, right? So the real-time portal is just gonna show you exactly what's happening over the past, say, 10 minutes. But the historical one, you can go back like months and look at anything interesting going on. So this is the real-time portal that I have for the Hessdalen Valley. And actually the Hessdalen Valley, as we start adding, and that's actually quite interesting. We've been speaking with the principals there and the scientific advisors there, and they're looking to get at least a dozen of these devices there, and then let the public watch this thing, because they can't watch it good enough. I mean, so we're saying is that we can get hundreds and thousands of people watching this real time and looking at this thing, looking at the results, or looking at as the alerts are being generated, being able to go in there and start, saying, okay, well, these are the things I'm observing. And then we can start looking at all the information coming in and start understanding what's going on. You can see something's really weird going on.
The humidity is going way up, like it's getting ready to rain right now.
Yeah, that's something really strange.
Wow. This is incredible, Jim. Now it makes so much sense why you've been working so hard and we've all been patient waiting for you to put this together, because before it's just been a static page where you can log in and look for like a spike and log in your experiences like a journal entry. And now this is all updated to be able to live track.
Yep.
And we're talking literally about the project moving to be able to live stream and log in and watch the data from the Hessdalen Valley, from the Norway lights up there, which is so cool to me. I'm so excited. Like, I cannot wait to just pick a date and fly out there and go get started on setting it all up and working with the team. That will be so fun.
Yep. And then, of course, you know, we all have this ability to, so there's a built-in ability here to put in these incidents. So everybody, you know, has these experiences. They see things, they witness things around them. So we have these, you know, these abilities to go ahead and, you know, start putting these incidences in. So like, you know, I was at home, I was outside, I saw a UFO, you know, I could type in something like this. If I, oops, not very intelligible. I can add images if I want. I can, you know, do whatever. Well, here's just a bunch of these images.
Oh, wow. You've made this way more robust for the logging
so I
in.
can, yep. So I can, and then you can have your incident time that you can select where you want to, like you can select where you want, what the time was that it happened. Say you were driving home, right? Say, for instance, you were driving home and you were driving and you spotted a UFO. You can give a description, and then you can, you know, maybe you clicked an image, and that becomes part of the database. And then on your particular, on your portal, those things will get entered. So if you see something that's been really weird and you have entered something at the same time, it'll show up as an icon on here to actually show you that you can maybe correlate. So like there's a little bit of electromagnetic bump right here, or microwave bump right here. So if you had entered this thing, say, you know, at this particular time, I had this, you know, incredible feeling that somebody was watching me, and it gets superimposed on top of there. You could start seeing how your individual experiences are correlating with other experiencers around the world.
Right. Plus, I immediately think of the potential, and probably a lot of other people do, like to do contact protocol experiments and things where, you know, we can go to the Hessdalen Valley and do group meditations and things and see if we can make contact, and then capture all these layers of data on top of the eyewitness accounts, on top of the photos, and log it all in.
Yep.
Like, imagine if during the Phoenix Lights events or the Phoenix UFO incident, if there was some of these out and deployed and people that were ready and understood and could capture the evidence, we'd have so much more than just all the stories, you know?
Yeah, there's a nice little spike.
Yeah, look at that.
In the microwave. Yeah.
The humidity in the microwave. It's almost like there's a thunderstorm or something you can.
Yep. You didn't get any gamma, but it looks like a really nice microwave spike. You know, some of the spikes are like 3 or 4, maybe even 10x as high as that. And then, you know, a lot of other sensors start going crazy. So, and this is where the alerts are coming up. So in the alerts, you know, you get, this is automatically generated by the AI engine. So it's looking at all the signals around, and it's actually creating these things. So the last thing that got created was on the 21st, or it had a very, very high gamma spike. And you get a lot of gamma spikes, especially in, you know, areas where there's a lot of underground, like quarry stone or quartz or things like that.
Right. So let's say somebody joins the Patreon MUPOS team, and so they become a team member. They're going to be able to log in here and customize their alerts and actually get emails if something happens either at my house or at any of these locations. So they can set up like 3 different portals that they want to watch that are accessible to them, log in and live track that, and then set up their custom alerts. So if something happens in my house, or if I log a journal entry, or if something happens over in Norway, they'll get an email and they can jump on and be a part of witnessing all of that experience as it happens live.
Right. So you just come in here. So you'll get your own portal. You come in here, you set up your notifications, and you put your email address in, and then once you have your email address in here, you just say, look, I want to be notified when any anomalous sensor is detected by the MovePass engine. Or for some of these devices like the Hessdalen area. So I want to know when anything has been spotted, in the sky. Or, which is great, is that, okay, I also want to know when any observations been happening by other members that have been watching something else, and I never saw it, and I want to be alerted so I can go back and look at it. And then you can go back to if you go back to your thing, you can dial in what date was entered, and then you might be able to look at that exact data, see how your stuff is correlated with it, and be able to figure out, are you being influenced by all of these large situations that are happening out in the world. And of course, if you have your own device, you would set up a portal that is just for your own device. Nobody could look at it except for you. So you would just have your own device in here, and you could be monitoring, and you'd be getting the alerts on your own device back to you only.
Right. So let's say I just wanted it for my own validation or trying to understand what I'm experiencing for myself. Right. I can just have it as a private access, or maybe just have you help look at it to interpret the data for me, things like that. Or I could even share that information with, let's say my mom is a doubter or something. I can see, look at, you can watch over time how I'm a part of this study to try and figure it out. And I think this is just such an amazing thing that you've put together. I think I've seen other people attempt to do similar type stuff, but this is just so much better, and the way that it overlaps. And we're living in a world now where we're so infiltrated with junk signals and frequencies, and people have legitimate concerns over, the Wi-Fi in their house and 5G and even energy systems, global systems that other countries might use and things. And so this is one of the ways that we're trying to figure out how to tell what's going on, and if there's ways to keep ourselves safe, and also interpret what's happening to us, and when we experience strange phenomena.
And look at this. So there's a big spike in the microwave, and at the same time, the pressure did a big jump.
Yep.
Isn't that weird?
That is strange, the correlative data. And look, now it's going, the pressure.
Yeah, the pressure is starting to act very strange, and
the pressure and temperature
is
going up with the humidity separating.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, and humidity is going down. That's crazy. So these are the kind of cool things that we look for.
It is. It's like an unnatural shift around the sensor in the atmosphere there of the last just 10 minutes.
And now it's coming back. Very strange.
And so like, let's say if someone was there and they were witnessing an anomaly in the sky, or a light coming out of the ground, or a lake or something like that, this data could be overlapped and correlate right alongside with that sighting.
Yep. So they would go in and they would put an incident report in, and I am here, this is me, blah, blah, and it would then pop up on top of the all of this stuff. It would pop up on top of there. You get their interpretation, their narrative of what they saw. When we have devices like that are public, like the Hessdalen stuff, they're all, as soon as one of their people puts something on, everybody gets it. So this is all for public consumption. So this is not private. The only thing that's private is when somebody buys a device, puts it in their house, and they want to make it private. They don't want to share it with everybody. They can specify either they want to share it with particular members, like 1 or 2 members or whatever they want, or they can share it with everybody. They make that choice when they have their device. But
that's amazing.
What's great is that it's a crowd science experiment. So everybody's looking at it, everybody's seeing it, and so I think this is the way of how we're going to understand what this phenomenon is all about.
It's the only way that we're going to be able to do it, because waiting for the government or the Pentagon or somebody else to come along to tell us is all going to be met with criticism and skepticism, rightfully so. And so it's something that we're going to have to figure out on our own, and validate for ourselves, and put the pieces together by collaborating like this at this level, and being open source about it. So
that's right.
Yeah, this is amazing. So everybody who's a part of the MUPOS home team and the location study, we are shifting this now from Mount Wilson over to the Hessdalen Valley in Norway and other locations. And everybody who is already a part of that team is going to be able to log in to this MUPOS portal and get live access to those public ones with the data and see everything as it happens. And the opportunity to expand this into other locations across the United States and other cool spots is wide open. So now that we have the working prototype and we can start to move into the live beta testing and experiencing of using this platform, we can keep going from there. And I don't know, maybe even expand it into being able to track the flight data of airplanes coming over, satellites coming over, and quickly click over to access local feeds for that really quick built in. And we've Jim and I have been talking about even ways of continuing to improve on the sensors to make them more mobile and all kinds of really cool stuff that is all going to come in time. It just takes patience and work. And this is the first big step. I'm super excited about this as the foundation for it.
Yep. So it's, like I said, at this point, it's ready to go, and looking very, very excited for people to start using this, putting in their comments, collecting loads and loads of data, and getting the public back into where it should be, into the science of this whole thing.
That's perfect. So we're going to do it all together as a team, collaborative. So if you're already a part of the Patreon MUPOS home team or study, expect to get a message with your login details or an email with the login details to be able to access all of this data. And if you want to get a device for your own home to do the home study as well, check that availability on the Patreon page as well. If you're not a member of the home team, just click the link down on the description box below, and I'll have all the information there so that you can go find out more and join up. So this is awesome, Jim. I'm super excited and I can't wait. I think we need to plan a trip to Norway and head over there sometime, right? That sounds like a good trip.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Jim.